Hello everyone and welcome back once again to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We have before us a Eurocopter 135 or EC-135 as it's known. I'm very fond of this helicopter, the med flight flown by the University of Wisconsin in Madison. I think up until very recently it was flying EC-135s. I think they switched to either BK-117s or the EC-145, a slightly larger version of this helo. We've got the 135 today. This is obviously a mod. It's not perfect. There's little bits, that are kind of glitchy, but it's a free mod. So again, pretty much every free mod that's out there, I give a pass, and this is an exceptionally good one. You can see all of the textures are very, very good in resolution. They're not perfect, but they're, again, for a free mod, they're great, in my opinion. We have a fully modeled interior that is equally as clickable as the garbage interiors we're given with default airplanes in Flight Sim. And we even have the rear doors that can open. So like if you had a medevac helo, this is where they would load passengers, like on the medflight helicopter I was telling you about, the EC-135 that they used to fly, is they would load their passengers in the rear here, and then the air nurses would sit. I think they would only have 2 chairs and not 3. Again, it's kind of a generic model. There's a few different paint variants. We have a UK police livery. We're in the UK right now. We're actually at Heathrow. We're going to fly from Heathrow to Gatwick, and then we're going to fly to London City, do a little overflight of downtown London, and then land at London City Airport as our final destination. Shouldn't be too long of a flight. One of the things I'm excited for this flight is the fact that it's going to be all hands-on. We're not going to be doing any autopilot stuff like I do in a lot of the other videos, but I think that's enough jabbering out of me. Let's close the helo up and get her started. Very simple process. Actually starting the Eurocopter 135 isn't too difficult. This isn't perfectly modeled, but again, it's free. Like, who complains about free? Jerks do. That's who. So you can see if I come down to this Garmin screen we have here, there is a flight mode option. And you have, I think, 3 different modes. So there's the basic mode, there's advanced, which is what we're going to be flying in. And then if you don't have a proper controller and pedal setup or a, HOTAS or something, there is an option for a gamepad. In this case it says Xbox, but you can hook up a PlayStation 4 controller to your computer, or whatever, bind stuff to whatever you want. So again, we're going to go back to the advanced mode, set our altimeter to on, and then on this screen, you have all of the basic controls, and these are fully customizable. You can go home, go back and change all your different stuff, but I'm going to leave them set up like this. So I've got my nav lights are already on. We'll turn on the beacon. We will actually lock the cabin doors, and that stops you from, you saw me toggling the switch earlier, stops you from accidentally opening the doors mid-flight or something like that. Okay, so beacon's on, nav's on. I think the only thing left to do is start her up. So startup is a simple process. We come to this touch screen here, and we're going to go ahead and start engine 1, and it's alarmingly loud. I'm going to turn down Flight Sim just a little bit. There we go. Because once this gets going, it's loud. You can hear what I'm talking about. It's loud. Very, very loud. So we'll actually hop outside. You can see we've got start of rotor rotation. And this should turn green once the engine's started. Oh, the audio's looping. That's okay. Again, free mod. I'm not going to complain. So engine 1 is now successfully started. We'll go ahead and do the same thing for engine 2. So we've got our rotor rotation there. Got our lovely co-pilot with us today wearing, I don't know, casual clothes or something. Oh, she's loud. Bet you're glad I turned it down now, huh? Okay, so we now have both engines running, but we still have our rotor RPM low warning. The rotors are not spinning at a rate that would take this helicopter off of the ground right now. So the next thing I'm going to do, and this is very unrealistic for how this is done, but I'm going to turn on what is labeled as FADEC, and that is a term for electronically controlled jet engines. It stands for Full Authority Digital Engine Control. And when I turn that on, you'll see our rotors, and you'll hear it too. They'll spin up, and they spin up at a stupid fast rate. This is done significantly slower on the real EC-135, but nonetheless, here we go. FADEC on. And we'll let them keep coming up in speed. You can see there's our rotor speed there. Or sorry, that's our N1 speed. But now, that message has cleared itself. We should be good to go flying. Alright, altitude repeating's on. Let's turn on our taxi instruments. A little bit of lighting going on outside. I'm sick of the real world weather, so we're gonna go. Let's go. What is storm world? Probably makes it worse there. Yeah. So let's go. Shortly after. I mean, it's the UK. It's you know, it's gotta be this. What if we do broken clouds? We're gonna make our own weather up here. There we go. Yeah, this seems like a very UK day. More coverage on this. And we'll go back to our precipitation. A little bit more rain out of those. A little bit more rain out of those. Actually, not really sure what aerosol density changes. We'll adjust it to where it looks good. How about that? 25 Celsius. Okay. So, not flying with real... Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious. Holy smokes. Oh. I'm being murdered in the ear department. Let's make that a little quieter. Okay. It's quieter on the outside than it is on the inside. Quiet? Deafening. Okay. So, we've got our UK weather set up. Let's attempt to take off this helo. So, you notice on our little compass rose here, there's this green dot. Now, when I bring the aircraft up, I'm going to attempt to bring it into a hover. It never goes well for me. So, you're going to see this green dot start to move around, and that indicates which direction your aircraft is traveling, which is pretty sweet. So, let's give this a shot here. Add some collective in. And a little bit of left rudder. Too much left rudder. And it just kind of hops off the ground. So you can see right there, there's that green dot moving all over the place like I was talking about. So we're actually going backwards, which I don't want to be doing. Especially in these tight of quarters. Let's not hit the pole. Right over this guy's head. So there's takeoff in the old Eurocopter, pretty straightforward process, as you might imagine. Anyway, let's get some altitude under us and get underway here. Got a long flight. And then once I start to build airspeed, once we get above, I think it's 30 knots, we'll actually see that green dot disappear and our airspeed come alive. Oh my god, what was that? Flight sim. I'm giving it some mods. There goes that green dot I was telling you about. What is happening? Oh, I'm getting like 2 frames a second. Sweet. Okay. Let's, we will change our weather settings. Does that help? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Whatever. We are underway now. A little more collective. Visualize on the stick here. Try and get on our little magenta line. Come cruising over the building tops. I'm sure all of the wonderful residents to the south of Heathrow are loving not only all of the international and local domestic jet traffic, but this Eurocopter buzzing over their homes. I'm sure they're very grateful for that. It's so uncanny having it dead quiet. And then loud. It's so funny. Do we have en route information? It doesn't look like it. Oh, yes, we do. 20.1 nautical miles. So no ETE, but 20 miles at 117 knots should go pretty dang quick. We're going to go ahead and parallel. No real objective here. It's kind of getting out, showing a new mod. Well, it's not even that new. I'm sure several of you knew about it already, but showing off a mod for Flight Sim in an appropriate environment. Now, we're still getting that weird shake crap, which sucks. Yeah, I don't know what to do about that. I don't know if it's the mod or if it's how the mod's interacting with the weather, but it's really not liking it. This is kind of a nice, cooler way to really take in Flight Sim as a whole. You know, a lot of times it's basically you appreciate the ground textures on departure briefly, although you're usually pretty busy on departure, and then as you're on approach. Whereas here, you know, we can buzz as low or as high as we want. So right now we're, you know, 200 feet MSL, about 300, well, no, 300, so MSL and AGL, I've got a radar altimeter, which is about 300 feet right now. You know, we can cruise 300 feet above the ground if we want, or we can, you know, go up to a few thousand. It doesn't really matter. Obviously, for now's sake, because I want more scenery to take in as we fly, we're going to stick with the lower altitudes. Railway below us? No, I think it's just a port or not a road. No, that is a railway. I'm completely unfamiliar with the City of London. It's completely and totally lost. You know, the extent of my knowledge of the City of London comes from Top Gear and FS2020's YouTube channels. So that's about it. So I won't be calling out a whole lot. I know obviously the big landmarks like the London Eye and stuff like that, but as far as locations and stuff like that goes, pre-apologizing. It's not going to be one of those episodes. So let me zoom out a little bit here, see how far we have to go. So we're a little over halfway. I will continue this flight, and I will catch up with you guys either once we find some cool scenery down below, or once we make it to Gatwick. I'm willing to bet it's probably going to be once we make it to Gatwick, because it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of interesting stuff between here and there. Anyway, I will see you guys in just a bit. Alrighty, we're coming up on Gatwick now. Just trying to overfly these waypoints properly so it changes my little magenta line. Also, this type of flying doesn't even really fly in America, like unless you're over like completely rural areas that you know are vacant of people, or frozen, or if you live in Russia, they do this kind of shit all the time. But I can only imagine with the UK health and safety, this probably violates all of the health and safety codes, the altitude, speed, and manner in which I'm flying. But you know, I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that. You know, live a little bit. Again, it's a simulator. Oh, look, a flat building, because my... I don't understand the loading logic with flight sim. You knew I was on this trajectory. You know I'm at like 300 feet. Now, given I know not every single building is 3D modeled. I'm hyper aware of that, but... I don't know. Funny part is I complain, but I still love flight sim to death, so... I am getting quite literally 2 frames a second here. So that kind of sucks. This is, definitely not Gatwick. I think... was I stupid? Did we leave from Gatwick? Okay, well, whatever. So here's a UK airport of some kind. I don't know where it is. That's cool, though, how they have the, markings on the ground there. 08 left, and... yeah, that's sweet. Is that a helipad? Let's try for a landing. Oh no, there's Gatwick down there. Or north of us. Yeah, this is not really how helicopters work, but I've flown this enough to know how it's going to handle in certain conditions. Pretty sure we were just hovering there briefly with a super nose down attitude. Oh, that's a roughin'. Oh, that's a real roughin'. All right, so I got a little extreme, but there's our helipad. Little carbon cub there. Police checks. Everyone seems to be cooperating. There's a marshaller over there, and he's marshalling... Is he marshalling me? Hold on. A little bit of left rudder. Not too much left rudder. So if I go to the right of him... Yeah, he's marshalling me, dude. That's hilarious. Alright, cool. We'll come over and land by you then, bud. The touchdown effects do need some work in this. It just kind of snaps the helo. Kind of like that, but whatever. It's still cool. Alright, anyway, that's this airport visited. Let's go to Echo Golf, Kilo November. I'm losing my mind. Oh! I just killed an airplane. And probably ourselves in the process. I saw that there too when we were coming in, and I guess I just forgot about it, but whatever. It's a simulator. You can do stuff like that all day. Fuel box there should we need it, but we don't. Alright, onward to our next destination. Okay, so turns out I'm just dumb. I don't know my airports at all. So I think we left from Gatwick. Heathrow should be to the west. I'm still guessing. You know, it would take me 2 seconds to Google Maps search this, but I'm too proud for that. So I think we left from Gatwick. Heathrow is to the west, or like northwest or something like that of London, and then there's London City, which is to the east of the city. This is a cool little disused airport. Well, this runway at least is. It's one of the places I'm long-term planning a trip to the UK once everything settles down. And one of the places I do want to go out to is the old Dunsfold Aerodrome, where Top Gear, I was going to say was, but I guess they're still making it for whatever reason, is filmed. So do want to go out there and see it just because of all the history, not even just as, you know, the BBC Top Gear filming area, but, you know, the history of Dunsfold itself and, you know, World War II and that sort of thing. So that'd be kind of cool to go out there and see. But from the little bit of research that I have done, Dunsfold is kind of out there on its own. Like, there's not a whole lot around Dunsfold, but the one upside for me is being someone who lives in the United States. The UK is significantly smaller. You know, driving all the way across the UK can sometimes, in the US, take less time than crossing a state, depending on your state. So, I don't think it would be that big of a deal. Anyways, that was that, whatever that little airport is. It's a cool looking airport. But we are now en route to London. You can actually see some landmarks way out there in the distance off to our left. If I slew our camera over, I think those are some of the London city features. Oh yeah, look, there's the Parliament building. I think it's the Parliament building. I don't know. It looks like a state capitol from the U.S. I don't know what you want from me. Let's go outside and make it quiet. And loud. The sun's breaking out around here. That's nice. Although, I swear I had it raining. Now it stopped. So what if I change you to make you rain? Those little curtains, that's kind of cool. The one thing I do know about the UK, and I'm fairly certain most of you in the UK will agree with me, is that it's usually cloudy and or raining. Usually, I mean, all of the stereotypes. Oh, look at the rainbow on our windscreen. All the stereotypes I've heard make it sound very rainy there, which that's not a bad thing. You know, I've long-term considered moving, like, to the the West Coast, like Northern California. But then I was like, I want to keep my guns, so then I looked at, like, Oregon or Washington. Oh, this is nice. This is a university of sorts, maybe, I'm guessing? Which one person in the, comments? It's actually a Commonwealth Correctional Facility. I'm like, oh, well, they had football pitches, so I tried. Really good try. Yeah, so we're coming into London screaming hot. 100 feet off the deck. Well, closer to 200 feet, but you know, 100 feet off the deck sounds a lot cooler than 200 feet off the deck. The lower you fly, the better, obviously. So if we drop below 100, then it's 50 feet off the deck. That's what we do in America. Big football pitch. 2 of them, actually. It's something that always interests. So, we have American football, obviously, in the U.S. So here in the U.S. we call football soccer. Everywhere else it's football. But the different sizes of the different pitches. Like, I know, obviously, like, the pro leagues, like MLS and that sort of stuff, are like Olympic teams. They play on bigger pitches. But even like locally, like in the UK, or I was doing Google Earth VR the other day, and I think it was in Brazil, and like just the different sizes of football pitches interested me. I mean, that's something that, you know, you kind of knew about, but you didn't really connect the dots. I remember now why I got rid of the rain. It's because it's it's like we're pulling a bunch of negative G's in here, man. What's going on? I don't remember where I was going. Something about football pitches. Yeah, different sizes. It's something you think about, but you're not like cognitively like. It's not cognitively in your foremind, so you're just like, oh yeah. I guess it would make sense to have different sized pitches. Another thing that does kind of need work, and again, these are not full-on criticisms. If anything, it's points for the folks who developed this great mod to either work on it, and then also, you know, little points for you guys to know if you're thinking about downloading this and installing it. It's not a complicated process, but it does take some time. If you look at my PFD, we're super uncoordinated right now. And if I give right rudder to try to correct that, we're now uncoordinated to the left. And if I give just a little bit of left rudder, if they're actually, they're not rudder pedals. What are they called on a helicopter? Oh, I don't remember. But they adjust the swash plate on the tail rotor in the rear. But if I adjust a little bit, it does nothing, and then if I adjust a little bit more, then it just kicks it all the way over past the coordination point. And no matter how quickly I release or try to correct back, it just doesn't care. So I've kind of given up and just decided to fly relatively uncoordinated. But here's London City Airport in front of us here. This is going to be our final destination. But we'll go do a quick overfly of downtown London before we come in and land here. We're actually going to land right where that generic looking A330 is. This guy. It's going to be our final landing spot. But we'll do a quick overflight of the city of London. Parts of it, I should say. I'm not going to cover the whole city. And I'm not going to be able to tell you anything about any place or building here. I know there's Tower Bridge, which I think is... It's this direction. Like, it's to the west. Is it southwest of here? Like, if we follow the river south, is that how we get to Tower Bridge? I'm not seeing it here, so I'm going to say no. We're going to come back to the right. And again, I'm really not working with coordination here. It just doesn't seem to care. So I'm also not going to care. So that means Tower Bridge must have been back north a little bit. Whatever. We'll see if we can find it. I know it's not far from London City Airport. Oh, there it is. Right off of the nose. I should also point out, this is the UK scenery. This is the free update, but I don't have the add-on. I think it's an Orbix scenery pack that adds a lot of detail and a lot of additional scenery to the City of London, as well as just the UK in general. I do not have that installed. So this is what you would get for free, given you install that additional pack. So I'm thinking the turn coordinator is just a little bit janky in this, because it was indicating we were uncoordinated to the left, and I could just tell from the attitude the helo was flying at that we needed to adjust right and not step on the rudder pedal. For those of you who don't know, so whichever direction that bar on the bottom is from your arrow, that is the pedal that you should step on. So right now we should step on the right rudder pedal to get us adjusted now, which should be the left rudder pedal. But I'm not really going to rely on that too heavily as of right now. So there's Tower Bridge down there. So the Parliament building earlier. Let's see if I can not fly into any buildings. That'd be swell. Building we just passed to our rear, I think it actually has partial interior modeling. We'll gain some altitude and check. Just a second here. While we pass what looks like a U.S. state capitol for all intents and purposes, except for Florida. Florida has a weird state capitol. We're not going to go into it. If you want to know, look it up yourself. All right, cool. Moving on. Back to that building that I had mentioned before. I have to visually ID it. I think it's... yeah, there it is. I see it. It's this one here. So we're going to start slowing. And right here. Oh, are we still? I need my instruments. Okay, so we're in a hover state, losing 200 feet per minute. Still going forward though, so I'm going to adjust the helo to come back. So, yeah, so there's a little bit of interior modeling for you there. That's kind of cool. It's little benches, little trees. It's not something they had to do, but I appreciate them doing it. Let's see if there's anything on the rear. I know you can't see down below it. Like so, you can see buildings through there, but if I come up, you can't see anything through there. So let's lose that altitude and that airspeed again. See if you can see anything on the rear side. Oh boy, we're in a bad condition here. That would have led to a retreating blade stall, and we would have died. But this is a mod, and it's for flight sim. Oh yeah, they did model the rear as well. So that's kind of cool. It's all about those little details. Yeah, I don't completely hate Flight Simulator. Alright, moving on. Do just a quick general fly past all the other neat buildings here, and then we'll head back to London City Airport for our landing. Not sure. One of the things I did want to see was the London Eye. I am not sure where that is in the city of London. I know it's along the riverside, but obviously the river is quite literally infinitely long, so we're not going to find it in this video. It's alright. Going back to Old London City. There's Tower Bridge once again, and a big ol' rainstorm over there. So we'll try to get down and in before that makes its way over to us. A bit of airspeed, exchange some airspeed for some altitude. Feet off the deck. Another football pitch. Oh, so right there. There's small ones and then a large one. A big one right there. If you want, you can mark up all of the health and safety violations I have occurred in this video. What's going on with the water down there? There's like waves, but not waves. It's weird. There's London City Airport. I'm actually going to get off of the approach path here since we're a helicopter. We don't need the approach path. we're going to overfly RLZ to the right-hand side, and then we'll swing the helo back in, taxi along the ramp, and then land short of where that generic A330 was, which I don't see it there anymore, which is good for us. That means a little more maneuvering room. It's not where I want to go. Yeah, it's gone now, which, again, I'm okay with. Very okay with that. Alright, let's start exchanging kinetic energy and dissipate it through some black magic. Our rudder is basically, I want to slow down without losing too much altitude. There's a Frontier Airlines A320. Don't know how you made it over here, bud. Oh, look, and there's a Spirit. Is that a Spirit Airlines? Oh, it's probably a real player, and he's probably going to try to hit me, because that's all they ever do. That's it. Yeah, it's a yellow A320. And so we are now out of airspeed. I'm going to slow that rate of descent. This is not really how I wanted to do this approach, but it's a stable one, and we'll take it. Well, it's a semi-stable one, and we'll take it. Ah, there is now a pits where the A330 once was. Alright, we're going to taxi into this little box here. And set down. We'll say that this hangar in front of us is where our final destination will be. Simulation. Generally speaking, and this is a very big generalization, I have zero rotary wing training, but from what I've heard from actual helicopter pilots and from what I've seen from folks doing their flight training with helos and that sort of thing, is you want a slight forward, you want to have a slightly forward sense of motion, but obviously we did not do that. It's not the best. Let's go back to oh, that's right. It's nighttime in the UK right now. All right, so we're down on the ground. We'll go ahead and shut off our taxi and strobes. We'll turn the FADEC off. Those rotors should spin down nicely. Oh, I never turned our transponder to altitude reporting. You're repeating. That's fine. All right. Then we will... What if we go home here? 3D vision. Oh, that's cool. I didn't even know that was available on this. That's pretty sweet. Huh. Okay, well, I learned something today. That's awesome. So there you go. Another reason to get this mod. So if I go to the home menu here, that just takes me to where I am right now. So how do I... Aircraft systems. Okay. So this is the home menu, I guess. Anyway, let's continue our shutdown. Parking brake, I don't really think does anything, but whatever. I didn't have pitot heat on that entire time either, but again, it's a helicopter, who cares? Let's shut our engines down. Oh, that's loud. Unlock our doors. Open up the cabin. Turn the beacon off. Didn't need a panel light to begin with. And there we go. So we'll touch down there. Gens are off. Main battery off. And we get our stupid little complete thing. I gotta look into disabling that. But anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. Just to look at the Eurocopter 135 mod. Again, completely free. Does need a little bit of work, but you know, for just sightseeing, that sort of thing, it's more than adequate. There are additional libraries available. Again, I just went with the UK police one since we were in the UK. But that's all I have for you guys today, and I will catch you in the next video. As always, take it easy.